When's the last time you let yourself feel your feelings? And not just emotionally, but spiritually, but metaphysically, but from a different level and layer that you normally identify as or identify with. When it comes to this full moon in Scorpio, this is opening up the gate for you to have profound emotional breakthroughs. This is a full moon that will bring you through feelings of despair only to have you hop out on the other side, finally feeling hope, finally shedding that layer of skin that has been preventing you from fully experiencing and showing the purest form of you. The full moon in Scorpio is always one of the most deep-seated times of the year, which is weird because it's when spring is actually happening. I think Scorpio is a vastly misunderstood sign. Basically because most people like to associate Scorpio strictly with sex and mystery and mystique, in which does have its merit and is very much true. There's also a side of really trying to get down to the pure emotional place that speaks to an inner truth that hasn't even been shown to the world yet. This might sound more complicated, but the best way for me to explain this is that this is your intuition. Scorpio energy is when you know what you know what you know. It's when you feel the vibe and you can address what changes are coming from an emotional place. Now, Taurus and Scorpio have a really interesting relationship to one another. This is the sister sign pairing that's going between the concept of holding. They're both fixed signs. And what I mean by holding is that these are two signs that have staying power in their respective elements. The respective elements of water for Scorpio and earth for Taurus. These are fertile grounds of change. The disruptions that you're feeling, the seeming feelings of loss or destruction. And even if you look at the world at large, things are in absolute chaos at every turn, between money situations, between people not knowing how to treat fellow people when you walk by on the street on a day-to-day basis. And I know it's been happening everywhere to a certain degree. It's hard to feel like a staying stone amidst all the chaos of the world. But that's what this full moon is trying to teach you. It's not about having yourself stay in place. It's not about freezing yourself and stopping yourself from feeling through the emotions or going through these type of feelings. It's about embracing them. It's about sitting with them. It's about allowing yourself the space to feel what you feel. I literally hear the waves crashing harder as I'm saying this, but the reason why this is so important is because you need to learn how to let go better. This full moon in Scorpio is the art of feeling everything. But here's the things. We have good feelings. We have bad feelings. You have good vibes. We have bad vibes. At the end of the day, you're feeling something. And that something is what's most important. With that being said, if you've never explored the depths of your astrology before, if you never explored fully those things that you've been feeling or you've been intuitively being drawn to, this is the time to let yourself explore it without any expectation. Just let yourself see what it is. Like the real, raw, rugged, deep-seated questions that we have as humans and as people are coming up to the surface within us. And it's up to us to address these things. It's up to us to feel through what's going on without judging them. One of the things that really sucks about the way that our minds work as humans is that most of the time when we have negative self-talk, if we have negative talk towards our lives or what we do, it's not even our voice. Most of the time it's two or three voices that live within your psyche from people that you've known, from whatever it is that's developed in that way. But there's something scientifically that says it's usually, or I don't know if it's scientifically, to be honest with you, but the concept still remains. It's one of those situations to where that negative talk doesn't stem from you. It doesn't stem from your soul. It doesn't stem from anything that makes you truly powerful. You are constantly ascending. You are constantly making changes. The things that we perceive as humans as bad is, in a grander scheme, literally pushing the tides of your life forward. So with this full moon in Scorpio, I invite you to feel what you have to feel. After this, I'm just going to sit here for a while and feel what I have to feel. By the water, no less. But the idea is, can you forgive yourself for the things that you weren't able to control to free yourself from the relation? Are you willing to free yourself emotionally from those situations and situationships that don't truly align to your aura? What's happening on this full moon with this opposition to Uranus is that if the auras don't match, things will not align. This full moon wants you to start to align energetically more to the things that you're aiming for. Your soul is calling way stronger than your ego can right now. The feelings, the tides, all of these things coming to the surface is to teach you and make you learn how to alchemize. Now, one of the major principles of alchemy is transmutation, and it's the idea of giving up a thing in order to gain something else. It's part of the rhythm of life. If you know, you know. But sometimes we start to ask the universe for more and more and more, and forget that sometimes it's not about the art of addition. It's not about the law of attraction. Sometimes it's about subtraction. Sometimes you do have to let go of things that you thought you were supposed to dig your claws into. And yes, you might be hearing that like, oh, dig your claws into. It's not like that. Yes, it is. And so because it is, it's one of those situations to where you have to let yourself and forgive yourself before the world can show you why those decisions were important. You ever have one of those revelations to where maybe months later you turn around and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I'm so glad that I blank, blank, blank. This is the kind of full moon that's going to really reveal that part of things. I think, to be so honest with you, a lot of people's missions are starting to open up. And because your mission is starting to slowly be shown, because a greater faction or a greater fraction of your power is starting to be revealed, because a lot of people think power has to come from outside of them. A lot of people think that graciousness, abundance, everything along the lines of that has to come from outside of them. A lot of people think that anything that's beautiful or gorgeous in the world is coming from outside of them. But that's not true. This is about the resonance between those two things. This is about the resonance between the seen world and the unseen, the deepest parts and factions of your water, of your emotions, of the way that you allow yourself to move. This is the full moon in Scorpio as going to allow yourself to unfreeze, to finally feel, to finally allow yourself to put more of yourself into things, to speak on things that might hurt your feelings or things that might be bothering you, right? To be transparent, I have not been well in the last couple weeks. I'm just recovering from being sickly and just dealing with situations from all walks and avenues of life. But throughout this entire time frame, although I've been more silent and quiet and needing more time to process about things, I've been grateful for the overarching transformation. I've been very grateful and generous that I've been being shown things that I would have never seen had I not just followed that lead in terms of this. And what I recommend for people is like, you have to allow yourself to let yourself feel. You have to go through these highs and lows that exist. You have to feel what it is to be too close to the sun. And sometimes you have to feel what it's like to build that airplane for the first time and head into the skies. This is a time of invention, but you can't invent, you can't bring value, you can't make things work if you're not emotionally aligned to it. So this full moon in Scorpio is going to do one of two things. It's going to shed a layer of skin in your life that you didn't know needed to be shed, or vice versa. This is about you stepping into the power of utilizing the emotional world that you have to not say sorry for the things that you feel, but to express them. A lot of life is so daunting because we choose or we allow ourselves to misunderstand one another when it comes to anything, when it comes to everything, really. And this is your gateway to be, quote unquote, maybe even the bigger person. Sometimes in being the quote unquote bigger person, it's not even about who's better, who's this. It's about who's just resonating and being present. And I think this full moon, and my suggestion this full moon is, remember what it's like to feel present. Remember what it's like to be in the moment. Remember what it's like to actually just feel the things that you're supposed to feel away from our phones. And like I'm saying this on technology, right? I have my technology in my lap right now. Realistically speaking, we're still always surrounded by distractions or things that we can dive into. But this is about taking the time and taking the effort to find more peace in the present, in stillness. Abundance isn't rapid. It wasn't meant to be rapid. Abundance isn't meant to be a lottery ticket that you hit once. It's about a resonance that you choose to continue. And you can't rush it. As a great song by the late, great Mac Miller once said, God's coming, she's just taking her time. And that's what this full moon of Scorpio reminds me of. So how are you going to take your time? Let yourself unravel. The greatest mystery in life is the mystery of you finding who you truly are. Type shit.